Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MKB Leadership Show. I'm your host, Katrina Burus, and this show is done in conjunction with Dukascopy TV. I am delighted today to interview Stuart Brown. He is a brand specialist and co-founder of Brand Apart. Today, you will be talking to the viewers about personal leadership brand. Welcome, Stuart.
Thank you very much, Katrina.
So, Stuart, tell us why personal leadership branding is important.
Well, it's very important from a branding context because since sort of 1997, when Tom Peters wrote quite a famous article which started the discussion about building or the importance of personal branding. And we live now in an age where we have so many different ways of building reputations and building profiles by ways of executing certain activities on social media channels, that it's extremely important. You know, we can build reputations in a much easier, quicker way, and we can almost do it in a similar way that, you know, quite a lot of the brands that we see behind us here have done. So it plays a very important role, and it's kind of like the concept of packaging yourself or your career.
So how do you develop your personal leadership brand?
Well, the starting point is the most important, and that's really know yourself. You really have to be authentic and true to yourself. You have to stand for something which is relevant to what you're like. Most of the big brand, or every big successful brand, has got a very clear message. It stands for something. It's held up by the perception of its stakeholders. So we know there to be a central truth to the success of these brands, and it's very much true for leaders and people that build their own self-brands.
And how do you differentiate your personal leadership brand with the organizational brand?
Well, organizational brands and your own personal brand, they work in a very similar way because it's branding, and our interpretation at the Brand Apart is that the brand is about the promise, the experience and the memory. And it very much relates to yourself and how you conduct yourself within your working life. So in terms of branding, they're very, very similar. There is a difference, or there is a concern that you don't want to be too much like a robot, if you like, you know, too much aligned to a corporation, because you are human. There are more values associated to you than there are in a organizational brand, but very much similar in terms of a process, and you are able to control a perception to your stakeholder groups.
So when you hire a leader, the clients, are they more loyal to the leader or to the organization? Yeah,
that's a very good question. There are some organisations which will buy based upon the other organisation as a supplier, based on their brand and what they stand for, and some people will buy off the people. I think, although there are different buying behaviours, or there's a different buying behaviour there, what I've seen is obviously the most distinctive part of this, where the change happens, is when a person has been buying from, or an organisation has been buying off a person for a considerable amount of time, getting a good service, building the relationship and the rapport. They will then tend to buy off that person. But generally, especially initially, you're more likely to buy from an organisation.
So what last pragmatic tip can you give our viewers on how to develop their leadership brand?
Well, it goes back to my first point, really. Authenticity is key. You have to be true to yourself, and you have to build a reputation based on the person you are. So that's key. And secondly, it's consistency. You know, it's actually building the reputation by engaging in marketing activity that helps build that reputation. Be consistent. Our strapline at the Brand Apart is "Be real, be relevant." Very true in this sense as well. You know, you be true to yourself and do relevant activity that helps build your profile.
Thank you. And where can people get a hold of you?
If you go to www.thebrandapart.com, you'll see our website, which will show you a full list of our services, and also has contact information. We're also on Twitter as well, and if you Google us, you'll be able to find us there too. So,
thank you, Stuart, for your time and knowledge and for sharing it with the public.
My pleasure.
I hope the MKB Leadership Show has developed your leadership and you're one step closer to excelling. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Katrina Burus, and this show has been done in conjunction with Dukascopy TV. Stay tuned for future interviews. Looking forward to it. Thank you.